And good morning at 7:04 on this Friday, April 4th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
That's right.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Here on a Friday morning, it's time for us to get started with Coleman and Company, live, spontaneous, and unrehearsed. And we invite you to stay with us for the hour here, and we'll get started talking about Wilson Bank and Trust. Emily Prey is here this morning. Emily, good morning.
Good morning.
And I told you have a good last name, P-R-A-Y, Emily Prey.
That's right.
Emily's communications manager and works in the building, I guess you'd say behind the main office on West Main Street.
Yes, sir. Our operations building.
Operations building. Tell us about yourself a little bit. How long you been with the bank and what you've done all your life?
Sure. I have been with Wilson Bank and Trust for 5 years now, and I am in our marketing department serving as our communications manager. So I really just focus on, as we're growing, how do we speak internally to each other as employees? And also, how do we speak to our customers and understanding those customers and how the business customer may differ from the consumer customer? Mm-hmm. What are those consistencies that Wilson Bank and Trust offers that they all appreciate? And how do we continue to give them that message?
Well, that sounds like an interesting job, to say the least. Have you done similar things before joining Wilson Bank?
Yes, sir. So I have been in marketing now for a little over 8 to 10 years, which is kind of wild to think about. But I enjoy it. I love the different facets of marketing. One of those, as a matter of fact, is we focus heavily at the bank on financial literacy. And so a large part of what the bank does is giving back and pouring back into our communities. And so this month especially, I wanted to be here with you guys this morning to share with our community here that we are focusing on financial literacy. April is Financial Literacy Month. And so we as a bank just take pride in being able to invest in resources and tools that we can give back to our community, regardless of age, and hopefully help them learn financial education that pertains to the phase of life they're in right now or the situation they're in right now, and how to better themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, the landscape, if we want to refer to it that way, the landscape of banking has changed a lot over
Absolutely.
the years. And honestly, it is much more complicated. There's so much more to it now than there was, say, 20 years ago.
Absolutely, for sure, especially with the digital wallets, the more technology and technically inclined ways to use money. You know, that Apple Pay, it gets me every time. Just click the button. So, yes, absolutely. To your point, banking has changed a lot. And so we want to just make sure that we're coming alongside our community and especially our customers and being able to serve them.
And the change is such that younger people seem to adapt to it so much easier and more readily than some of us older people.
I don't know.
That to be true?
I think I'm in the middle. I'm in a strange limbo, but I will say my 4-year-old daughter, she already understands that she can just tap the card to pay, but I'm also trying to teach her on the back end that plastic card represents cash, and if you don't have the cash in the bank, the card doesn't work. So I think it's a different kind of learning curve.
Right. Well, what do you spend most of your time? Is most of your time spent in a communication way?
Yes, absolutely. I think, again, to the point of being able to give back to our communities, and how do we do that aside from the standard offering of, interest rates and checking accounts, loans, those things. We as a community bank, and more so just who our people are, we want to be able to promote a better future for everyone in our community. I think that's evident through things like our school banking program that has been established for 25 plus years. I think that's also very evident in the things that we do. For instance, starting on Monday, we're doing a partnership with MasterCard where anyone who visits our website or our offices and takes advantage of a financial literacy reward collection we're offering April 7th, so starting on Monday through the end of the month, that can be found on our website at wilsonbank.com/financial literacy. If you take advantage of that, we will give you an investment back in your time for learning a little bit financial education, and we'll give you a $20 MasterCard gift card. There are no strings attached to that. We just want to help you and help incentivize you to invest in your financial future.
So go to wilsonbank.com. What do you do after that?
So you'll go to our financial literacy library, which is under the resources tab. There will be a button there starting on Monday morning. You just click the button. You'll take, I think it's about 20 minutes worth of learning, and it's engaging, it's interactive, and at the end of it, there's a 4 to 5 question quiz. If you pass the quiz, which most everyone can, then we would just send you a gift card at the end of the month.
Okay, well, keep all of that in mind. Anything else before we let you go this morning?
I would just also like to mention for any of the listeners who may have children or grandchildren that are available next Friday, April 11th at 10 a.m., we will be hosting, in coordination with Financial Literacy Week, a story time at our main office there on 623 West Main Street. And that will be hosted by Gabby in our main office. She'll be reading a children's book geared around financial education. So we just invite the community to come out and take part in that with us.
Okay. Well, thanks for being with us this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Emily Prey, Communications Manager, and it's Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender, still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. We're now 11 minutes after the hour, and it's time for our Friday Senate report. Here he is, Senator Mark Pody.
Good morning, Coleman. What a great day.
Oh, how are you, sir?
Coleman, I'm doing well. We had that tornado that came through a little bit, in Wilson County, and specifically it hit Cedars 11, and there was so many trees down and such, and I live out that way. I live, just outside the park there, and we had trees down in our yard, and our neighbors, and a lot of them, had some roof damage and things like that, so it hit us pretty good yesterday.
You got a little cleanup done, I think.
Yes, and so neighbors, just everybody pitching in together to help each other and get some of the trees moved, and the roads cleared real quick. Everybody was working together. The park was doing a great job. They had like over 100 trees that came down, and they're clearing those and getting those cleaned up right away.
Well, in a weather-related thing, let me just do this now, lest I forget later on, and it will only take a minute here. But due to flooding and the ongoing severe weather conditions in our area, it's been decided that the Wilson County Heart Walk will be postponed. It was originally scheduled for tomorrow, Saturday, April 5th, at Cumberland University. It's going to be rescheduled. The Heart Walk will now be on Saturday, April 26th at Cumberland. So.
Okay, all right.
Now, you're winding it down in the Senate. It's evident, I think, in a lot of ways, and we can jump right into that this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So the only committee that we have left besides the Budget Committee, basically, is Judiciary, and that's going to close down on Tuesday. And so I've got one bill left in Judiciary that we got to work through to make sure we get it done, and that is going to be called, some people call it the HALO law, but it means that if you're a law enforcement officer and you're actively in a traffic stop arresting somebody or whatever, and there's a lot of people that want to film everything that's going on, and they come right up to the law enforcement and they stand next to them and they got their phones going, and we have no problem with them wanting to make sure that they are doing their job correctly and so forth. But sometimes if a law enforcement officer is in the middle of arresting somebody, there's a really high tension, they need to be able to tell the crowd to step back a little bit so they can focus on what they're doing and saying, hey, you need just to step back. You can still film, you can still yell, shout, whatever you want to do, but do it from a little distance, and we're saying 25 feet. It's not just that the law enforcement can be walking down and saying, you need to move away from me. They got to be actively doing something related to their job. But That'll go through on Tuesday, and I think we got good support in that. Other states have passed this piece of legislation, and I think it's going to give law enforcement, a little bit more comfort that they can focus on whatever that they're doing. Because I'm going to tell you, if somebody's coming up behind them, they don't know if they got a knife, gun, club, whatever. They might be just reaching for their cell phone, but they need to be focused on who they're arresting rather than the crowd coming around them. So I think that's a good piece of legislation.
Is there opposition?
So I've had it in committee, and some of the people had felt that I was protecting law enforcement from law enforcement officers that were doing wrong, because there's been some beatings in other states or whatever, and they said, we need to make sure that we're right there to know what's going on. Of course, George Floyd died, the officer kneeling on his neck and things like that. And they said, we can't do it we want to be right there to film everything. And so we had to come up with a distance. What is a reasonable distance? And I think 25 feet is just a reasonable distance. They can still film, they can still do everything, but that gives the law enforcement.
Well, I'm just thinking, I think it's 60 feet and 6 inches from the pitcher's mound to home plate. So less than half of that is all you're asking them to be away. So
that's correct. And with phones and cameras, you can zoom in on what you need to do. So I think that this is a good compromise, and I think it's going to help our law enforcement, and it's still going to hold people accountable.
We're already at the time we take a break. We're going to do that right here. Our Friday Senate report to Senator Mark Pody will continue right here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There was a wreck a few minutes ago over there on Stewart's Ferry Pike on that ramp to I-40 as traffic gets a little bit heavier over in the Hermitage area. Post Road at Old Harding Pike. 2 cars slammed together there in West Meade as traffic picks up down 65 as you come down through Sumner County there, especially in Millersville. It's trying to load up a little bit more volume right now on 65 through Williamson County coming in through Franklin. Hey, when you need dependable towing in Middle Tennessee, there's only one name to remember, and that's STR Towing and Recovery, strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Here comes the sun.
Hey, Medina, here comes the sun. Spring is just around the corner.
Call us and we can come over and tell you what your home is worth in this market, and it's free.
Yes, free and no obligation. It's time to get ready for the spring buyers. Inventory is low. We have buyers who need listings.
Here comes the sun. And remember, don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoler at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
It's all right.
Hey, this is Dr. Derek Gregory, and I'm proud to announce to you the opening of our brand new dental practice, Gregory Dental Group, at 1746 West Main Street, just across the road from Sports Village. Come experience modern dentistry at its best. We're always welcoming new patients, and I truly look forward to taking the best care of all your dental needs. Come by or call us today.
That's Gregory Dental Group, 615-444-0322, or online at mylebanonTNDentist.com. Gregory Dental Group, compassion, knowledge, skill.
We thank you for joining us here on a Friday morning, our Friday Senate report. Senator Mark Pody, let's pick up where we left off. What's next?
All right, so I want to hit on some of the things specifically about Wilson County. One of the things that we've had, Coleman, is in Wilson County, we had a bad report from TDEC. And it shows that a lot of the septic systems are called step 6 systems are failing. Now, and the process is, how do we get those systems? We are growing in Wilson County, and there's a housing shortage. We have to get more houses. So what can we do? The current way that it works is basically this way. If a developer goes in and says, I want to develop this area, I want to get a septic system in there, a step system, they got to go through all the hoops to get the application and so forth. And it's typically then the utility companies that are saying, okay, we'll approve this, and they're supposed to go out and kind of inspect it as being put in, and then they're the ones that take it over and run it and manage it. Now, this is across the state, and these systems have been failing. And when TDEC went out, and I've met with them now several different times, I said, how could we have all these systems failing? And they said, well, a lot of them just have not been monitored correctly. And the people that are monitoring them, they don't know what what they're doing. They said, we literally would be talking to the people in charge of doing it. And then we said, what are the steps that you're doing to make sure they're right and so forth? And they said, we got horrible reports. They were untrained. The things that were supposed to be done were not done. And so TDEC wrote up a lot of people in the whole state, but Wilson County got dinged pretty good. Now, we got people with sewage in their yards, and it's not fair for the subdivision homeowners to say, we got a system that's failing, we got to replace it, we got to do something, and be charged an assessment or something like this to get that system fixed. Well, I can't do much about what's already been done, but I am focusing on what can we do to make sure these systems don't fail in the future. So I got a piece of legislation I'm working on to address that. And I know it's been on the news a few times and so forth. I'm not trying to get rid of the step systems, but I am saying that if a developer goes in, I want them to put up a bond. I want them to make sure that if that system fails, there's money there to replace that system. The utility companies have been very... they've been to my office as well, and they said, well, let us do more. And I said, this has been underneath your purview right now for years, and you haven't done it. You've allowed this to happen, and I'm not comfortable with what they've done, and if they've not been able to monitor it and make sure it's going well. In the past, I don't have comfort that they're going to be able to do it better in the future. And I told TDEC, I said, you have made this one-time inspection. You could have been inspecting these for years, and you just all of a sudden decided to start inspecting. You caught all these things. You need to be making sure you're inspecting them a whole lot more often than like once every 10 years. So there's enough blame to go around to everybody.
Well, let me interrupt you. Just how has your criticism been received?
Horrible. Everybody's not happy. Okay, the builders, they don't like the bonding system and such, but they know that they need to have systems to go in place. The utility companies don't like it because this is going to give them it doesn't mean that it will force everybody to go through that utility company. If the utility company doesn't want that system, it'll be turned over to another private company. So the private companies that are doing it, the legislation is going to say, if you've got a failing systems that you've been managing in the past, you're not going to be able to manage the new systems going forward. So there's nobody really happy with it, but I want to make sure I'm fighting for the homeowners and Wilson County and the Tennesseans so this kind of systems don't fail in the future. And there's going to be some teeth in there that we can fix it. And there's going to be bonding in there. Now, I've told the local governments, they're going to be the ones that set the bond. So I didn't say how much that bond is. It's going to be up to the local government. So, I'm sure Rutherford County will have very high bonding standards. So I don't know what Wilson County will or won't do, but some counties won't have hardly any bonding, or they might not even need one. But that's going to be up to the local governments to make those decisions.
Okay, so you're attacking it from a future aspect, at least, to stop the bleeding.
Yes.
Right now. But what about the past? What are you going to do about that?
So I don't have a good answer on what I can do to fix that. There are some systems that can be replaced, but that's going to cost money to do that. And it's almost like this. If you've got a leaky faucet and so everything's spilled all over your house and off the kitchen floor and so forth, you water everywhere, before you start mopping up the floor, you better stop the leak. And that's what I'm trying to do first. And now this legislation is not going to be able to get through this year. So I've invited everybody to be coming back in to work on this so I can try and get everybody a little bit happier to run it next year. But it is happening in Wilson County, and I want to make sure we're addressing it.
But well, you've described this. I mean, I don't know much about this at all, but listening to you here, this is I hate to use the word horrible, but it's a very, very bad situation. And is it going to get any better before some legislation passes?
Well, I hope that we have brought enough attention to it that everybody's going to step up their game, from the developers to the utility companies to TDEC, to make sure we stop this from going forward. I don't have an answer again for what we've got in our system right now, including Wilson County, but I am going to make sure we have a better system going forward.
Is it a health hazard?
I think it is. I think some of this stuff's going into Old Hickory Lake. I think it's going into our water supplies, and I think that we need to fix it. Stopping the development or stopping the systems isn't the right answer. I mean, they're going to be. We've got to have the housing, but we can do this in a safe, environmentally friendly way, and it can be a cost-effective way. But we're going to hold somebody accountable if that system fails.
Okay. All right. I guess time to move on to something else. But I'm glad you brought that up. that needs to be addressed. We need a solution yesterday.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we're working on that. Something else that we're doing is the Core Civic. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, I'm working with Jason Lawson, and of course Tim Leeper has been down to testify. That bill's coming up on Monday, and it was scheduled for yesterday, and it was literally on the calendar that we're supposed to do, but with the tornadoes and such, they cut the session short, so we didn't get to hear that bill, but I think it's going to pass very easily in the Senate. It's in the House right now, so they'll work through that, and Tim Leeper, with his son passing, has been very open about it, has made passionate indications about what needs to be done. So this is going to be something that's going to be addressing the prison system up there. So my shout out to everybody, from the sheriff to Tim to Jason Lawson to everybody, saying, let's get this thing at least held somebody accountable up there as well. So we're working along those lines to make that prison system a little bit more tolerable. Something else we're doing is Lebanon Special School District. They've said we want to expand our board. And so that piece of legislation, as soon as the House passes it, it'll go through the Senate. Another thing that we're doing is Watertown's asked for some money for their turntable for the railroad, and so we've submitted that. We also have something for the James Ward Ag Center, and there's that. It's actually a learning center that we're trying to get a little bit of funding for that. I know there's a lot of people that have been actively working on that. And Tim Edwards has been very much, working on that for years to try and get something there. So we're working along those lines, but we are starting to close down. And in the Senate, we could literally be done. We could have the budget in front of us next week and close the following week. However, I'm not sure if the House is that close, so we may have to wait on the House. We may, there's a court case going on, and some of the House members are going to have to go testify there, so they may have to take a break for a week and then come back the following week if the House isn't ready to close in 2 weeks. We'll have to wait and see. So we could actually be into the first week of May if it keeps going this way, depending on how fast the House goes.
Yeah, right. but it's all up to the House.
All up to the House. So we've done.
You've been there. They are two different bodies.
Yes,
and of course with only 33 senators, 99 people in the House. It's just more people to be concerned, and different things come up. I suppose I haven't been there, but that would seem reasonable. If you got 3 times as many, it's probably going to take a little longer to settle down.
Yes, I can tell you that in the House, when I was there was a lot of debate went on in the committees, but there was a lot of debate on the floor in the House as well. In the Senate, almost all of our debates are in committees, and very, very few debates are ever on the floor. So it's much different on how we do it in the Senate. In the House, there's a lot of subcommittees as well, so it's got to go through 2 to 3 times the length of time that it can go through the Senate. So it will take them longer, but I've been there. I've been in that House, and like you said, there's 99, and they all got to say.
And it's not necessarily that. I mean, it's just the way the system works, I suppose. You deliberate longer, take longer with the House, and then the additional committees and subcommittees and so on. A shorter number of people, it can just. I can understand how that would be. Okay.
Yes.
We've got about 3 minutes left this morning. What else is happening?
So I want to shout out to some of the corporate owners and business owners that we have here in Wilson County. Like, we've got the Teacher of the Year banquet at Cumberland University tonight. It's funded by, like, Cedarstone Bank. It's funded by Wilson County Motors.
Right.
And there's so many, and I'm just pulling those two out as examples because there's so many of our large employers and small employers that they don't have to give back to the community the way they do. But it's not tax money. They're just saying this is the right thing to do, and they voluntarily give money back to help the community. And some of them focus on different things. And, so when they're saying that we want to help support education like this and tell our teachers we appreciate them, and I just want to shout out to all of the Wilson County residents and employers and so forth that step up and say, we're going to do it because we have to, not because we're forced to do it with tax money. And I like that kind of system that we're using that way. And it makes me feel really proud to be here in Wilson County.
Okay.
So I got a couple other quick things, if I can, as we're closing down, and this is the first half of the session that we're going through. But while we're in this next couple of months and such, it's the time that if somebody says, "Hey, I'm thinking about new legislation for next year or what we want to do," it takes time, sometimes months and such, to get pieces of legislation thought through, planned, and the research. So if somebody has an idea, whatever, this is a good time for them to sit down and talk to us and say, "This is something we might want to go next year." We have a town hall meeting again this morning, so I'll be at the chamber at 8 o'clock. I've done this, every single month since I've been in office. We always try and have a chamber meeting on the first Friday of every month, that we just sit and talk to citizens and residents and see what it is that's on their mind. So if somebody has something, I'd love to see them at the chamber this morning, 8 o'clock.
Do you have somebody there most times, or
yes,
you're not there by yourself?
No, sometimes we have a whole crowd. Sometimes it's just 2 or 3, but I know that we've got people, we got awards that we're going to be giving and so forth. So we got several presentations we're going to be doing this morning.
All right. Well, it's always fun and exciting to give awards, congratulate people when they've done something worthy of receiving it. And,
yes.
And you look forward to that, no doubt.
I do. And if somebody wants to come down to the Capitol, we have a lot of people right now visiting the Capitol, and we want to encourage people to come down and see what it is. And people say, well, this is how the sausage is made, but this is how actually the bills are passed. This is how they're debated. And the people are always welcome to come and sit on the floor with me or come to the committees. And I want to make sure that they can see what happens at the Capitol and how they are represented in Tennessee, and they're welcome to come down. We want people to come down, whether they're for something or against something. Now, we want to do it civilly, but, if they're going to come down and protest, we want to welcome them to make their voice heard. Just do it in a civil manner.
Okay, our time is up. Thanks for being with us. See you next Friday.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right, Senator Mark Pody, our Friday Senate report. More coming up. Keep it here, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. And this update is all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. Bates Ford is located at 1780 Franklin Road. They have a regular oil change. It's $39.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. Again, located at 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, let's check in with Chuck.
Good morning, THB, working with a couple of accidents out here, trying to load up a little bit more volume in the last 15, 20 minutes through Wilson County to Mount Juliet area, especially with that traffic volume on 40 going west, headed on over into Hermitage. I can see that it's starting to get a little bit busier than it was 15, 20 minutes ago on 24 out through Antioch, coming in right now from Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. If you received some hail damage or some wind damage to your roof from all these storms that went through here recently, call Independent Roofing Specialist. Check out irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hi Phoenix fans, this is Quinlan Wiley from Noonan, Georgia, and I'm a senior pitcher for the Cumberland Phoenix. We're fighting for a Mid-South Conference championship, and we want all you guys to be a part of it. Come out to the 6 and watch us battle Campbellsville in a huge Mid-South Conference series on the weekend. All games can be heard online at WANTFM.com, GoCumberlandAthletics.com. Check out the CU website for game times. I'll see you at the 6.
Save time and money with a business account from Wilson Bank and Trust. Our great account benefits help you grow your business with online and mobile banking, no monthly fee for bill pay, and low monthly balance requirements. You'll enjoy easier record keeping and tax reporting when you open a business account to keep your business expense separate from personal too. A business account helps preserve your personal liability protections from business obligations. Wilson Bank and Trust is here to get you there. Visit us at any of our 30 office locations across Tennessee or go online at wilsonbank.com. Member FDIC.
We'll have cloudy skies early for today, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. It remains warm, highs in the mid-80s. Partly cloudy tonight, a few showers possible, lows around 70, and then scattered thunderstorms on Saturday, highs around 80. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
And we welcome you to part 2 of Coleman and Company. It's a Friday morning, and the C&D team are here, 2 of them anyway. We've got Miss Judy back with us this morning. Judy Cox, good morning.
Good morning.
We've got Medina Hemmentoller. Medina, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Exit Rocky Top Realty, C&D team, 1330 West Main and Lebanon. Great people, great service people you can trust. Well, yes. I know we're all wanting a progress report on your husband, Mike.
He's doing a lot better.
the doctor let him come home if he promised for 2 weeks he does not step foot out of the house. So rather than going to rehab, we're doing it at home. So that's been tough because he's wanting to get out, and he said, "Why can't I ride around?" I said, "No, you can't even get in the car. You're here for 2 weeks before you see the doctor again." So it's he's calling everybody to see if they'll come pick him up because he said Nurse Hatchett won't let me do anything. So.
It's got to be better sitting in your living room or your bedroom than it is in the hospital.
That's what I told him. I said, well, there's enough of us family, we can handle him, we think, if you let him come home instead of going to rehab. So he's improving every day, and he's still on pain meds. So that's a blessing right now because that keeps him down.
We talked about this last week, and just for those who might not heard, Mike had five
bypass.
And, so that's pretty serious surgery, but doing fine.
Well, he went ahead of schedule, so the doctor said he really wasn't supposed to come home until this weekend. So they let him go a little early with the restrictions. So, and then we'll see where we go from there. It's going to be a while before he can drive and all that, and that's where the problem is. He said, "Well, if I can't drive, can't I ride?" I'm like, "No, you can't even ride. You're staying home." So we're working with him, but Jason's there with him this morning, taking care of him while I'm gone. So
okay, what kind of realty talk you got this morning?
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit about termite letters real quick. A lot of loans will require you to have a termite letter before you sell your house or before the loan closes. And then some loan companies don't require it anymore. It used to be a state law that we had to do it, but now it's according to what the loan person says. Whether you have to have it. So when you get your termite inspection, it's going to have 3 blocks on it, and one of them is going to say no live insects, one's going to say live insects, and one's going to say no visible insects but damage. So one of those boxes are going to be checked. And of course, what you want is no visible evidence of live insects. But a lot of times people have had termites in the past, and maybe that house has been treated, and there's staining. There could be staining on the wood underneath, or it could have some shells, tunnels where the termites have been through, and those tunnels are still under the house, but there's no insects in them, or either they're dead insects. Mm-hmm. So some loan companies will make you, if it says there's tunnels or there's staining, they want you to go on and treat it. And then some loan companies will say it's fine. But if it says visible evidence of live insects, you already know you got to treat it.
Yeah.
And because you cannot sell a house without treating it if there's live insects, unless the buyers agree that I'm buying it knowing there's termite damage. Mm-hmm. And termite damage could have been from 10 years ago. And some loan companies will make you go in, and there might be some wood that needs to be fixed underneath the house, or some people will just make you get the stains off the wood where the termites have been. It varies by your loan company. But anyway, and usually then a company comes out, you can get a couple of bids, and they come out and treat it, and usually that treatment is good for 1 year. So we tell the buyers, if you want to keep up a contract, then you get your own or whatever. But termite things a lot, if you're thinking about selling your house, you might want to just go on and get a termite guy to come out and check it. So if it needs to be treated, it's better to have it treated than for the buyers to want to go, well, hey, it's because some people can't understand what that letter means. They think one little block and, oh, my house is eaten up with termites. That's not what it always means. So you don't want to scare your buyer at the time. So it's wise to go on and get it, and they're not expensive to get a termite letter. They range from $50 to $95. So it's better to go on and get it done. So I'll let Medina go.
It is your turn, Medina.
Good morning. Well, I just wanted to say that it's been a busy market here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The sunshine before the rain came was out, and everybody started getting out of their house looking and wanting to get off the fence. They've been trying to decide if they want to buy or sell. And so the last couple 3 weeks have been very busy. We've got a lot of listings coming on the market soon, and I've got 3 that's going to be coming on the market here in the next couple of weeks, and one of them will be in Stonebridge, and that'll be in the $500,000 range. And then I have another one on Hartsville Pike. I have actually 2 on Hartsville Pike that will be, we'll probably have those online by today or tomorrow at the latest. And they're going to be in the $200,000 to $300 range, $100,000 range. And then we have another one coming up that we're still working with. So we will be having all that out. And, if you're still looking for a house to purchase, give us a call. If you're looking for land, if you're looking, whatever price range you're looking in, we can help find it. If we don't have it listed, we can sure help you find it. It doesn't matter if our sign's in the yard or not. And the other one that I have coming soon is that I'll have on the market by this weekend is in Deer Park, off of Castle Heights Avenue. So give us a call there. That's a condo with 2 bedrooms and 2 full baths. So give us a call.
All right, 615-443-3130.
That's it. And remember, Coleman,
yes,
don't make a move without us.
Thank you all so much. See you next Friday.
Thank you.
That is Judy Cox, Medina Hemmentoller, C&D team, Exit Rocky Top Realty, 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Okay, we are 21 minutes before the hour, and my guests are here this morning, and this program is paid for by the Democratic women of Wilson County. I've got 3 people that we want to talk about for a moment here. First of all, I'm going to introduce Joni Cochran with the Wilson County Democratic Women. At least to let everybody know you're here and say good morning.
Good morning.
And we have on the phone, we'll go to the phone here in a moment, to State Representative Gloria Johnson, who is calling in. And then we do have Larry Tomlinson with us this morning, a former member of the Wilson County Board of Education, chairman, in fact. And Larry's here this morning as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Good to see you again.
I guess the first thing we need, yes, good to see you. Maybe I'm trying to rush things too much here. You don't usually get in a rush. You just slow and easy.
Just slow and easy, like a slow hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's good to see you tonight at the Hall of Fame banquet. We'll get that out of the way right quick.
Yeah,
saw you at a distance and didn't get to say
that was really nice, and I started to come over and say hi, and then something happened, and I didn't and forgot about it. But that was a great occasion. Yeah. Let me mention one other thing real quickly here, lest I forget. There was the Heart Walk scheduled tomorrow at Cumberland University, and it's been postponed because of the weather we've had to Saturday, April 26th at Cumberland. So just a reminder of that. And now, if I think, according to my information here that I have, I am supposed to go to the telephone, and I hope that she has been listening. State Representative Gloria Johnson, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you're coming in loud and clear. I guess you'd like to know that. And so as we get started here this morning, tell us a little bit about yourself and the district that you represent.
Okay. Yes, I am in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's a district, if you're familiar with Knoxville at all, it runs from Northingale area, which is just a little bit north of downtown, all the way out west to Cedar Bluff Road, which is West Knoxville. So it's a very interesting district that they just really created in the last redistricting, which was in 2021.
All right, there's a lot to talk about public education at the state and at the federal levels. What education bills should we be watching in the General Assembly?
Yeah, well, absolutely. The biggest one right now is the one that is going to prevent some children from attending public school who are legally allowed to attend public school and have been for dozens of years. In our country, we have a constitutional decision that all students who are school age who live in this country can attend public school in this country. And we are trying to pass a law that is counter to that federal law that says students who are undocumented cannot attend or can be prevented from attending public school, which is counter to our federal laws, what the Plyler versus Doe decision decided. And so there are a lot of people that are really upset about refusing young children the ability to attend school.
So is that of great concern to you?
Oh, it's a huge concern to me as someone, before I was in the legislature, I taught school for 27 years. The idea that we would be refusing children the ability to attend school is incredibly troubling to me. I mean, what do we expect these children to just sit at home and not attend school? I mean, I can understand. I think that regardless of what party you're in, there's definitely a frustration with our immigration system. You know, we need to solve the immigration situation. We need to create a policy. You know, people don't realize that doing the hard work of policy requires some thought and some time. It requires people to sit down and develop a policy that works for all of us. You know, we need an immigration policy where folks who are doing the right thing can come in and come into this country, create a path to citizenship, and allow people to come into the country legally to work hard and become a citizen. And unfortunately, our folks in D.C. are not interested in sitting down and doing the hard work of writing good policy. They have a mass deportation, what they're doing right now, but that's not policy. That's just bullying people. What we need them to do is sit down and do the hard work of immigration policy so that we can run our states the way we need to. But currently our legislature instead has written a policy that is unconstitutional, and they admit that it's unconstitutional and it goes against our current laws. But they're writing this policy anyway. So people are threatened by this. They're frustrated. They say, why don't we write some immigration policy at the federal level so that all of our kids can go to school? Because the reality is our immigrants paid all the same taxes that everyone pays in Tennessee. We're a sales tax state. They pay their sales taxes every day. They pay property taxes. So these immigrants are paying all the same things that we pay that keep our public schools running, and our federal law allows that they attend our public schools.
All right, it's time for us to take a break. Stay with us here. State Representative Gloria Johnson, we'll finish up with you after we go to a break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways, and it's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Starting to crank up a little bit more volume on 24 westbound, pushing in through the Antioch area, coming in from Murfreesboro. And it's been busy in the last few minutes. 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. It's finally starting to pick up there out of Hendersonville, Sumner County, westbound Vietnam Vets, working your way towards Conference Drive. Wilson County traffic's been pretty quiet so far. Just watch for some radar. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. Check them all out this weekend. Don't forget you can order online at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sunday mornings, we invite you to God's country. Beginning at 7 with Brother Ricardo from Linwood Pentecostal Church, followed by the Gospel Show with Miss Dean, Words of Hope from Randy Rollins, music and message from the Journey Church, Pastor Ferguson from Hillcrest Baptist, Call on God Today with Kenneth Bowen, the Commerce Church of Christ, and Southern Gospel from our own crew. You'll be blessed on air or online at wattfm.com.
We continue here on a Friday morning. With me on the phone, State Representative Gloria Johnson. Let me say this week, according to my information here, an 80-year-old woman was physically removed, arrested for refusing to leave the empty Senate hearing room on the bill, or on the Hill, I should say. This bill was Senate Bill 0836, which is a bill that would allow districts to deny a child from attending public schools based on their legal status. Can you tell us anything about that?
Well, like I said, you know, people feel really strongly about this. This bill goes against our federal laws and what our courts has said will happen in this country.
Okay.
It's been that way for years. So they feel strongly, and the woman who was removed hadn't done anything. And I think the committee room was cleared because some people had started singing or something, but this woman had said she didn't do anything and she didn't believe she should have to be removed. So they carried her out.
Okay, let me ask quickly here, what's the status of this bill?
So this bill is currently in the House. It has passed through the Education Full Committee. So this bill will be headed to the floor. It's in the Senate and to the floor in the House in the next week or two.
Okay.
So it is passing through committees, and even though there is wide pushback from the people, and even though we know it is counter to our current federal law.
Some Tennessee senators, including Senator Mark Pody, have requested that the Tennessee School Board Association stop talking about the voucher bill. Why would they do this?
That I don't understand. You know, the voucher bill, we passed that bill during our during that special session, which was very frustrating because there's no rush for a voucher bill. There was certainly a rush to get aid to hurricane victims, but there was no rush for a voucher bill. So there's been a lot of attention around that. It's a policy that most Tennesseans don't support, and so I don't know why you'd want to be silent about it. It's going to take place this upcoming school year in August of 2025. And so we need to be talking about it, and people need to understand what it's going to do, because it's really going to put a financial burden on every one of our 95 counties.
Okay, well, we want to thank you for being with us. Larry Tomlinson is here, and we're going to get his comments here, but we'll hang up here in just a second. But State Representative Gloria Johnson, thank you for being with us this morning.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Okay, Larry, and now in the studio, Larry Tomlinson, how does the state government and these laws that they pass generally impact schools?
Well, Coleman, they have a tremendous impact on what goes on, you know, in the local LEA. And I say LEA, it's the Local Education Authority Associations, which is the Wilson County School Board and 11 special school districts. So anything that they pass down there has a great impact on what we do. And so, you know, there's a lot to talk about. Representative Johnson hit on a lot of it this morning, excuse me, about the immigration bills and that kind of thing. And but they have a tremendous impact. And I guess, and let me say this right here, right now in front, and for everybody to understand, make a disclaimer. I'm not a member of the Wilson County Board of Education any longer. So anything that I say here this morning is just my feelings of Larry Tomlinson and the experiences that I've had for the 20-something years that I was on the Board of Education. So I want to make that clear right now. I'm not representing the Wilson County Board of Education at all. But there are a lot of things that they do. Everything that they do has a great impact on what we do. My frustration as a former board member with that is I feel like that a lot of times they don't listen to what the local people want. And I've been very vocal about that over the years, especially about the voucher bills and stuff.
Who sets the curriculum for Wilson County schools?
The curriculum in all state schools are set by the State Board of Education. Now, they give the local boards authority to critique those curriculum and either add to it or take away a little bit from it, as long as you submit a written proposal. You can take the curriculum that they've handed you, you can modify it some. I know in Wilson County, we always had a curriculum committee, and that was made up of some teachers and central office staff that took the curriculum as it was handed down to us, looked at it, and tried to modify it to do to meet the needs of what we thought was necessary for Wilson County kids, students.
All right, let me ask this. Is there a woke agenda in Wilson County?
Coleman, that's a good question. Let me ask you, what is woke? What do you think woke is? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I mean, to me, going back to the definition of woke and what woke is, and it goes back for a long, long way. And I think the way that we see it now, or we hear it now, is that there's a certain segment of our society that has tried to use woke to make it look like that it was something that was a bad thing.
Yeah.
In which it's not a bad thing. And that woke it's being informed, in my opinion, and according to what the dictionary says, to a certain degree, and I'm paraphrasing here some, but being informed and caring about social and political issues, in particular, those things related to inequality and injustice. And to me, Coleman, it's going by the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But a lot of people have turned that around because that they don't like a certain thing or a certain segment of our society, and they've tried to paint a broad brush with this one particular word, woke. And the only thing I can tell you about woke is, I woke up this morning. and that's a good thing. And so do you. But, when I asked you what you thought woke was, and you never did say. So I think there's a lot of people, Joni, that don't really know or care about what woke is, but some people have taken it and turned it around because there's a certain person or a certain group of people that they don't like, or they don't feel comfortable being around them, and try to use it for their own personal agenda to promote what that they were trying to do. And I know I've danced around that a little bit, but to me, woke is a golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
All right, we're going to let Joni wrap it up in a moment, but one more thing for you, Larry. What's so great about Wilson County schools?
Oh, that's an easy question. It's the people that we have. It's our teachers. It's our administrators. It's our parents. It's our students. It's our people that's willing to serve. That's what's great. It's about the people in Wilson County. That's what's good about Wilson County education.
All right. Joni Cochran, we welcomed you, and we haven't let you say anything. We're going to let you wrap up the show, and you may have some announcements for the Wilson County Democratic women as well.
I do. Thank you. Great to be here this morning. Tuesday, I had the pleasure of delivering a check to Beth Petty at Lebanon Special School District for the summer book bus. We were able to raise, at that time, actually, we raised $1,830 for the book bus. And so I delivered that on Tuesday. And since then, we have collected more. And our total donations now have topped $2,000 for the book bus this year. We're pretty pleased with that, pretty proud of it. We have some generous members and members who are dedicated to education. It's near and dear to most of us. The Wilson County Democratic Party's reorganization meeting is on April 19th. It'll be held at the fairgrounds. And if you're interested in seeing what it's all about and getting involved, we encourage you to go to our website at wilsoncountydemocrats.org to register for that. It should take a couple hours. But anyway, that's where we're going to elect our new leadership. Our executive committee members, our chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, and so forth, and do a little bit of planning for the upcoming year. The Wilson County Democratic Women's regular monthly meeting, public meeting, will be held April 14th. We hold that at the fairgrounds as well, at the Gentry Building. Meeting starts at 6 p.m., and like I said, it's open to the public, so everybody's welcome to come, guys included. We've had plenty of men come hang out with us. And as far as announcements, that's all I have so far. I was also at the Ag Hall of Fame dinner the other night. I saw you from a distance, but didn't get to say hello. And that was really a great experience. It was I was in Leadership Wilson with Debbie Joynes.
Mm-hmm.
We were in that class together, best class ever, of course, class of 2013.
All right. Larry Tomlinson with us here. He has guest hosted for me nearly every year for one segment when I am gone, and probably this year will be no different. We'll see. But anything, how are you enjoying retirement and your involvement either with the schools or local government? I mean, the fact they have you here this morning, we just got a minute, but short answer, I guess. But what's going on in that direction?
I'm just basically doing what I want to do, Coleman. And run a lot of taxis. Picking up grandkids and grandkids and doing things like that, and it's just has been good. And let me say this about the Democratic women, and I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate that they thought enough of me to ask me to come in and maybe answer some questions and what my personal thoughts was. But these ladies are doing a tremendous job, and it's not about being a Democrat or a Republican. It's about doing the right things and getting the word out there. And I think that they're really trying hard, Coleman, especially in Wilson County, and we all know how that Wilson County has voted here in the last few years and everything. But these ladies here they've taken some real interest in what's going on in our community, and I appreciate that. I think it's healthy. I think it leads to a good environment. Yeah.
All right. Well, our time is up, and Joni Cochran, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
We've had State Representative Gloria Johnson, and of course Larry Tomlinson, and our program paid for by the Democratic women of Wilson County. And that's it for Friday. Have a nice weekend till Monday. I wish you a fantastic day.